Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My nephew, 17 male, is the only remaining link I have to my beloved sister who died years ago. So I love him like he's one of my own kids, and am very protective of him. Our dad gifted me and her his 1967 Shelby Mustang once we got to high school, but left it to her in his will. It still burns my butt since I love that car, but I got the money, so I guess I'll live. Also, my sister was a major gearhead and loved cars since she was a kid, which factored into his decision. My sister left the Mustang to my nephew on the condition that he only receive it when he gets his license on his 16th birthday. When he got the car, he loved it and promised to take special care of it since it was his mom's. And as far as I can tell, he has been taking care of it. My brother-in-law got remarried to a total see you next Tuesday of a person named Claire. She's an awful person, but she's very pretty and manipulative, so brother-in-law fell for it, and they got married. Claire and my nephew don't get along at all, and unfortunately, my brother-in-law has been blinded by her and takes her side in their fights. Well, my nephew told me that my brother-in-law took his Mustang because he got in trouble at school, and he's given it to Claire to use. I went to my brother-in-law's house to hear his side, and he confirmed it. He said my nephew needed discipline, and Claire wanted the car to use. I was seeing red, but I told him that it was legally my nephew's car. He said that it didn't matter. He was a minor and living under his roof, so he would follow his rules. I was furious, but my evil mind put together a plan. I have a very good job, and I have a dear beloved husband who comes from a very wealthy family, so we have a lot of disposable income. Long story short, I got him a 2022 Shelby Mustang GT 500. I drove the car over to his house and handed him the keys in front of Claire, who looked dumbfounded. Admittedly, it was worth it just to see her face. Brother-in-law called me and told me I was undermining his authority as a parent and being an a-hole by enabling his bad behavior and being petty. I said he was unfairly punishing my nephew by taking away his property and that it was only a lease until he gives back his car. Now I'm wondering, was I being short-sighted and reactionary by doing something so petty? Was I an a-hole? Not the a-hole. If he had just taken the keys, it would be a different story, but it's not up to him to give the car to Claire. Not the a-hole. Not even if he deserved punishment. The car should never have been given to that woman. Don't be surprised if he moves in with you at 18. Not the a-hole. This is my level of pettiness, and I'd do the same for my nephews, just to spite my sister-in-law. However, the way you describe your nephew's situation raises some red flags. Please make sure to pay close attention and assure him that you're always there for him, because this seems like just the beginning of what stepmom is capable of doing to ruin his relationship with his dad. To make a long story a little shorter, towards the end of my grandma's life, she was deceived by a family friend and wrote 50% of her estate to this woman. My mom got 6%, two cousins got 14%, and I got 30%. The total estate is worth between $400,000 and $450,000. They had a 6-month court battle, and the family friend settled on $75,000, and my mom would pay her legal fees. The two cousins felt bad for my mom and signed off their collective 14% to her. Now that the family friend has settled, my mom sent me a letter from her lawyer asking me to sign off my 30% to her and that she would take care of me and to trust her. She also guilted me, telling me how hard this court case has been and that she has had a hard year. I sent her a text telling her that I won't be signing this paper, but I'm willing to work something out so long as it's in writing, but that I don't think it's right for her to try to guilt me into giving away my inheritance. Now she is threatening me with lawyers and telling me this whole ordeal is going to be expensive and mediation starts on 2/15, so I better get a lawyer. She's had her best friend message me about the whole situation, telling me that she is heartbroken, disappointed, and devastated that I've taken this route. I told him that I'm very disappointed in her, and I don't think a mother should be trying to take everything away from her son like this, and that if she wants to make it work, she should put it in writing. I think our relationship has been damaged, but I'm really ticked off at her for trying to guilt me and make me the bad person for wanting to keep the gift my grandma gave me. She loved me a lot, and I'd spend every summer with her as a kid. I'm trying to start a business, so this money would go a long way. Am I the a-hole for trying to make sure I keep part of my inheritance and not sign it off to my mom after a long court case and a hard year for her? Her other best friend died. Edit. for any of the adults here. She is threatening to take this all the way to the end and says the lawyers will take all of the money if I want to take it to court and nobody will get anything. How feasible is that? I can't really afford a lawyer right now. What are my options? Not the a-hole. Your mom will have a much harder time convincing a court that you, the grandchild, somehow hoodwinked your grandmother out of her money than some unrelated person. If your mom doesn't want to deal with the stress of it, the solution for her is easy. Don't do it. Just let you have the 30%. If she's in such a bad state that she needs it, couldn't she just ask nicely? The fact that she's threatened a lawsuit suggests that she's rather selfish, and she just wants the money to herself because she feels entitled. Do not sign over your inheritance. The only reason she's guilt-tripping you, and then getting her flying monkeys to guilt-trip you as well, is that she doesn't have a case. Her promise that she'll take care of you and to trust her is empty. You know any money you sign over to her is never coming back to you. Mediation is not a lawsuit, and her threats about how expensive it's going to be and how you need a lawyer are just hot air. The will is on your side. The mediator will see this. Oh yeah, and you're not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your mom sounds like a selfish, entitled princess. She believes she deserves the entire estate, and everyone else can fight over crumbs. She's already got $14,000 from your cousins, which I would have told them not to give her. Get a lawyer and fight her tooth and nail. Good luck. My parents recently shared their last will and testament plans with us. The only asset they have of serious value is a house in London that they own with a mortgage on it. More on this later. Rough estimates put value at about £600,000. The will states that the house is to be split between the three of us, myself and my two sisters. My older sister and myself both live in our own properties that we were only able to purchase thanks to financial assistance from our parents remortgaging their house to the tune of £70,000, £35,000 each. This money is currently being paid back by my sister and myself, and the agreement is that if our parents pass before the money is paid back, then the remainder will come out of our share of the inheritance when the house is sold. After hearing about needing to sell the house when our parents pass, my little sister has gotten very difficult about the whole situation. It seems like it's come as a shock to her. Despite this being the plan for the past 6 years or so, we only spoke about it verbally, and she was included in the discussions. It seems as though now that it's in writing, though, it's more real to her. I mean, my parents are early 70s, so hopefully they won't pass for a number of years yet, but it is a possibility, and I thought it would be better to discuss it as a family before they pass. When we said obviously we would need to sell the house to pay for the inheritance tax and the mortgage, etc., my little sister said she would not agree to that, as she can't afford to buy a house in London, and even with the money from the house sale, she would not be able to get a mortgage in London on her partner's salary alone. She doesn't work. I said, maybe you'll have to live outside London then, or get a job, thinking that was a sensible solution. I'd love to live in London, but I can't, so I moved outside London. I'm actually happier for it now, but again, another story. My little sister flipped out, saying she has her life in London, and her kids are in school in London, and that she would not leave the house. I tried reasoning with her by saying, how will we pay the inheritance tax on the house? And she just said, I don't care, but you can't sell the house with tenants in it unless they agree to leave, and I will not agree to leave. Then my older sister and I said, as the 2/3 majority in this scenario, we will evict you. At this point, my little sister left the talks, crying, and hasn't spoken to either of us since. My parents think that it was an a-hole move to tell her that we would evict her, but I don't see any other option here, and I'd rather discuss this before the event so everyone knows the plan and has time to prepare for it. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It isn't your sister's house. It's your parents' house, and if they pass, it will be 1/3 your house. You went through the arguments very logically. That being said, recognize that your sister isn't going to be approaching this with clear-headed disinterest. She is clearly having an emotional response. Moving is stressful and disruptive. Yeah, she should have expected it, but she is still just coming to terms with it now. A gentle hand might be helpful. Also recognize that evicting your sister right after your parents die would be a hell of a time. No one would come out of that happy. So, while it is a natural option for your sister to refuse to leave, it is also a nuclear option. It might be good to think about different options. If your sister could buy your and your sister's 1/3 shares, she would only be paying for 2/3 of the house. You got a loan from your parents to help you buy your first house. It might be possible to loan her some of your share of the inheritance so that she can afford to buy her house. I am not close to the financials, so maybe these ideas are ridiculous. But if you can think of ways for your sister to stay, it changes the dynamic of the conversation. Instead of, you have to leave, it becomes a choice. Not the a-hole. Your sister is solely focused on herself and what she wants, which is her choice, but that doesn't mean she can or should get her way. She can't force you and other sister to keep a house. She can either buy you out or you all sell. That's how it works. Maybe sit down with a lawyer and have the options explained to her so she sees the situation. Not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister has time to prepare. She can get a job and save up. I would love to live in a mansion on the beach in Hawaii, but if I can't afford it, I can't. Simple as that. Sounds like a very immature sister. Too bad she has kids being so childish herself. Stand your ground. Yes, you can evict someone when they do not want to leave. One of my husband's best friends is getting married in a month. Both he and his ex were asked to be in the respective wedding parties. His ex and him share a child, and him and I share a child. While I don't have an issue with them being in the bridal party together, I do have an issue with them being paired to walk down the aisle. They could easily switch up who walks who, but for some reason, they seem adamant on having them walk together. Everyone in the bridal party are all old friends, and often talk about times that he and his ex were together fondly. To me, it seems like a calculated decision. Not only does it seem unnecessary to have them walk together, but it seems inconsiderate. Am I the a-hole for saying that if they want to walk together, I won't attend the wedding? To add, no, they are not maid of honor and best man. My husband has voiced to me that he doesn't feel comfortable walking with her, but doesn't want to add to the bride and groom's wedding stress. Not the a-hole. A married man should not be paired with his ex in a bridal party. That's just common sense. What does your husband say about it? He's the one who needs to stand up here and ask to be switched. Not the a-hole, but go and smile. There are more of them than there are of you. Maybe they are trying to get a rise out of you. Don't play into it. Don't worry. There will be many people at the wedding who are going to think it is crazy. If asked at the wedding what your opinion is of this, well, he walked down the aisle with her, but he comes home with me. Your husband is being a jerk by letting his friends be jerks. He is a jerk by association. What you need to lobby for is sitting with him for dinner, either up on the dais or sits at your table. Do not let them put you at the randos table. Or if the ex has a new partner, sit with him. Not the a-hole, but don't skip the wedding. That's what everyone wants, for your husband and his ex to be forced to be around each other, and it'd be a bonus if you're not there. Be there and stick to him like glue every second of the day, except for when he walks her down the aisle. Let those jerks know that you're not going anywhere. I, 26 female, bought a house with my ex, 33 male, 3 years ago. We saved between us, and his parents helped with some too. We bought a house in September 2018. We split everything 50-50. We ended up splitting up in January 2020. We came to the agreement that he would move out and I would stay and pay all the mortgage. I needed him on the mortgage still, so I said if he did that, then when it came to selling, whenever that would be, he would have what he put in plus 10%. He argued that wasn't fair, and he wanted 50-50, even though he wouldn't be paying the mortgage at all, and it would be all me. We both have been living here the whole time together, and it was working okay. We ended up trying again November 2020. All was fine, but we both agreed that there was too much water under the bridge, and we split up again January 2021. Now to the problem. We have agreed we need to sell and have a fresh start away from each other. However, he's now saying he wants all the money his parents put in, even though when he signed the mortgage, he signed to say when we sell it, we would 50-50. He has since said that it was my fault he signed it, even though he didn't read it and just signed, and has even gone as far as accusing me of forging his signature. The house is now valued at $28,000 more than what we bought it for, due to the work I've done in the house. I don't think I'm the a-hole because he was going to do the same to me when he wasn't even paying the mortgage, and he signed it himself, and it's his fault he didn't read it. He's now refusing to sell, and I'm going to be stuck living with him until he does. He has somewhere to go if we sell. I don't, unless I can get my fair share of the house to put on another house. Would I be the a-hole if I took 50%? Not the a-hole. Legally speaking, I assume he's entitled to 50%. It may be easier to just walk away with that. You get the money you put in initially, plus half the profit. However, if he's saying he wants what his parents put in, firstly, that doesn't include the increase in value because they didn't put that in, unless his parents put up 50% of the house cost. If you take him at his word, he should be worse off pursuing that. Not the a-hole. He signed the legal document. He had every opportunity to read it and dispute it. You say he agreed and signed it, so he knew. Now he just regrets it. That's his problem. However, if you can't sell and are stuck there because he is dragging his heels, you're going to either have to compromise or seek legal advice. You may not be the a-hole, but sometimes it's just about moving forward, and it might be worth losing some money to drop the weight of being tied legally to an ex who is making your life difficult. Not the a-hole, but in these sorts of situations, it rarely matters what people think or what their opinions are. You should seek legal advice and make sure you've got a copy of the original mortgage agreement and sale. Usually there's options of what type of share it is. Most common for couples is 50-50, regardless of who's actually paid what after that point. I, 21 female, am currently 31 weeks with my first child. It's a girl. I am currently on the fence if I am the a-hole in this situation. All this started when my stepdad paid for a repair on my car. Even after I told him for the repair not to be done and that I was going to find another solution. Well, now they're constantly messaging me when will I pay him back. It's been an ongoing issue. Well, my mom is hosting a baby shower next month for me, but is demanding to pay back the money I owe. I cannot pay her back since I only work part-time, not making much, and will have no paid maternity leave, which she knows. She has given me so much stress regarding this issue, and I've reached my limit. I told her to cancel the baby shower and get her deposit back from the venue if she needs the money that bad. I said this due to her constantly asking for the money when she knows I do not have it. She had caused me so much stress, anxiety, anger, and sadness throughout this whole pregnancy, and I officially reached my limit. My mother-in-law was already hosting a baby shower for me and knows the whole situation and has said to invite my family to the one she is hosting so I can have them there. Well, this pissed my mom off even more, claiming I am denying her rights to my daughter. I'm not denying her anything. I'm just mentally tired from her, especially since I know my baby feels my emotions and I do not want her to feel any more negativity. Now that I am more calm, I'm questioning if I made the right move. I'm just so tired of my mom wanting to control my pregnancy and have everything her way. I'm tired of her not respecting my decisions and emotions. Not the a-hole. I hope you didn't put anything in writing saying you were going to pay them anything, because they can take you to court over it. If you didn't agree to pay them back, that's what I would stick to. Mom, I never agreed to pay for this repair. Stepdad paid for it without my consent. You're going to have to eat the cost. If I had the means, I would have paid for the repair myself. Instead, your husband took it upon himself to do so, and then pretends it was an agreed-upon loan. That's on you. If you receive texts regarding the money, respond with, I never borrowed any money from you. I never asked for him to pay for the repair. Not the a-hole. You do not owe them money for something that you did not want done, but they did it anyway. They can pound sand. Do not pay them back anything. Tell them they should listen to you instead of making decisions for you. Not the a-hole. Maybe you could consider going low contact or no contact with your mom. She sounds like a nightmare. The only rights she has to your daughter are granted by you. It's up to you if she sees your daughter at all once she's born.